You're surrounded by spiders. My name's Dr. Jess Marsh. I work as a researcher for the South Australian Museum, and the groups that I work on mainly are the spiders, and I also sometimes work on centipedes and millipedes, things with lots of legs. So the invertebrates, which are the spiders, the flies, the beetles, the snails, they're everywhere. People know invertebrates. Not many people like them. Many invertebrates are what's called detritivores, and this is where they break down leaf litter and recycle nutrients into the soil. They actually lower fire risk. And a lot of the detritivores are small and they're not very good at dispersing, and so they are animals that are really at risk from fire and also less able to go back into an area once it's burnt, which means that this leaf litter can build up and actually the fire risk could increase. So one of the species that I work on is the Kangaroo Island Assassin Spider. This is a spider that's only known from the northwest of Kangaroo Island. It lives in long unburnt habitat near creek lines. The fires that went through Kangaroo Island in 2019-2020 burnt the only location that this spider was known from. Not only was it burnt, but it was burnt at really high severity. Kangaroo Island Assassin Spider lives in leaf litter that's suspended in understory vegetation, so at about knee height. It was so badly burnt that not only was there no leaf litter left, but pretty much all the organic material had been stripped from the area, so large logs had burnt, and there was no organic material left on top of the soil. Now, we've been out surveying following the fire to look for the assassin spider, and after months of surveying we finally found two individuals in a bit of vegetation about 4 kilometres from the original location the spider was known from. This was a really small patch of vegetation that had remained unburnt in the northwest of Kangaroo Island, and it's incredibly important now for this species. The Kangaroo Island Assassin Spider, from what we know of it, it doesn't disperse, so it can't move far. It's restricted to long unburnt country, and so it's going to take a long time for the burnt areas to be suitable again for it to live in. Now, people often ask me, this spider, it's a primitive spider, it's been around for a very long time. Fire is a natural event, why is it so vulnerable? And it's a really good question, and I think we need to look at the structure of the land now compared to what it has been. Kangaroo Island is always thought to have a lot of natural native vegetation. However, it's only got around a third to a quarter of its native vegetation remaining. And what this means is that you get these species that are reliant on native vegetation getting pushed into smaller and smaller habitat, so that when a fire goes through, especially one as catastrophic and extreme as the 2019-2020 fires, it can take out a whole species range. The other problem that the assassin spider faces is that it's really reliant on high humidity. So it lives near creek lines. A lot of the creek lines in the northwest have been affected by dams further upstream, which reduces the amount of water flow and means that, again, we're limiting the amount of habitat this species can survive in. And of course, one of the biggest threats to the species is climate change. As we get hotter weather, as the rainfall becomes more unpredictable, species like this one that are already on the edge are going to be pushed even further. And after many years of surveying for this species, I believe it is on a knife edge, and we really do need to take action to address the causes, address the threats, and really legislation to try and slow down climate change, legislation to try and protect what we've got, to try and reduce the amount of land clearance is really crucial. One of the things with invertebrates is that we know very little about them. Most invertebrate species are not known to science. From species such as the assassin spider, we can go out and study, and we can say, yes, this species is vulnerable, yes, this species is at risk of extinction. By doing that for a species we know about, we can infer that a lot of the species that we don't know about yet are likely to also be at a similar threat. And it really emphasises just how importantly we need to take these decisions to protect what habitat we have got remaining. There really are a lot of things that we can all do small things that can really help. So for example, pesticide use in your gardens. So if you can reduce pesticide use as much as you can and plant plants that are beneficial for invertebrates, for the pollinators and for other species, then that can really help. There are many good citizen science programs that are starting up, and they're a really excellent way to get involved, because not only can you then contribute and help, but also they often put you in contact with the scientists who are doing the work, and it's a great way to learn a lot. And they become really interesting. A lot of these species have really cool things that they do, really great life histories. We've got spiders that look after their young for 6 months. There's a lot of fascinating stories in there. And I think by getting involved with citizen science, by going out for a walk and seeing what you can see, that's really going to help the invertebrate cause, because I think as soon as people understand and get to know these species, then the more they're going to want to protect them. Invertebrates are really special, they're really important. They are the little things that make the big things happen. A lot of invertebrates are also very restricted to small areas, so it's likely the area you live in has got some species that are found nowhere else in the world, and that's really special. And if you get to know those species, you can learn how to help them. And I think by working together, by trying to change the narrative away from let's squash it, to one of like, oh yeah, no, these are doing things to help us, let's try and help them, then I think there's a really positive future, hopefully.